I think we're ready to start. So I just want to welcome everyone today. His Excellency, the U.S. Ambassador, Mr. Michael Adler. Thank you very much for being with us today. Representatives of USAID, the acting USAID Mission Director, Rhonda, thank you very much for joining us today. The USAID BHA Director, Christina Ortiz, thank you very much as well for joining us today, as well all the USAID and BHA as well colleagues. We have as well our representative, Mrs. Mary Ellen Groarty, that is joining us today, and as well our Deputy Country Director, Sean Hughes. Thank you to everyone for being here today. We have just today received from the U.S. government 40.5 metric tons of high energy biscuits, which are going to be critical assistance for the next few months for thousands of people that have crossed the border from Sudan into South Sudan, highly affected as well by the conflict in the neighboring country, Sudan. I would like to take this opportunity to pass it over to His Excellency, the U.S. Ambassador, for a few remarks.
Thank you very much. And I'm immensely proud of our partnership with WFP to help people in need, and immensely proud of the work that USAID does here in South Sudan and around the world. And it's at a moment like this, with the humanitarian crisis caused by the conflict in Sudan, where we see USAID's work at its greatest. The commodities we're receiving today constitute just a fraction of the additional resources the U.S. government is providing in South Sudan alone to help refugees and returnees fleeing the conflict in Sudan. Our total assistance thus far is over $30 million, which in itself is but a fraction of the around $1 billion of assistance we provide to help people in South Sudan. With that, I will turn the microphone over to somebody I'm immensely proud to be working with, the head of WFP in South Sudan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you, Ambassador, and thank you. Good morning, everyone. And it really is for me a privilege to be standing here again with you, Ambassador, to welcome this additional contribution to WFP in South Sudan. I think we can all agree that the events in what's going on next door in Sudan are absolutely tragic, and we're seeing the fallout here in South Sudan as over 190,000 people have already arrived in places like Renk. Many of these people are South Sudanese returning home, but that's a home with a really underline, because it is a country where 9.4 million people are in some need of some form of humanitarian assistance, and over 7.4 million people in what we classify as severe food insecurity, really driven by the combined shocks of the conflict that still continues in South Sudan, the climate change that the many communities across South Sudan, whether it be the floods of 4 years, unprecedented flooding, the drought that they're also seeing as they abut the Horn of Africa, and all that coming together and really making things extremely difficult for the people of South Sudan. We have the returnees that are now arriving, but we also have the macroeconomic shock of the crisis in Sudan that's forcing food prices and fuel prices upwards, as the markets between South Sudan and Sudan were so interlinked. But really, I want to really thank you, Ambassador, for this additional contribution. The U.S. government is WFP's strongest partner in South Sudan, is a very strong partner and supporter of the people of South Sudan, and not just for WFP, but also for WFP globally. So thank you again for the tremendous generosity. These biscuits, you know, as we said, the people coming back, the South Sudanese that are returning, they're a population on the move. They're coming in at places like Renk and Aweil, and they need to get onwards home. So the biscuits are really going to help us give them a little bit of support on that journey home as we try to roll out food and nutrition assistance both at the border and in their places of return. This brings the total support of the U.S. government, of the people of the United States of America, to WFP in South Sudan to over $3 300 million this year. It enables us, your support allows us to really get to people at their most vulnerable. We're in the height of the lean season. We're able to assist over 2.2 million people across South Sudan because of your generous support that arrives early. It allows us to pre-position before the rainy season and helps us to reach those people when they're most in need. So thank you on behalf of all the people that we are here to serve in South Sudan for your incredible generosity again.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Thank you very much as well, Mel, for this address. At this stage, we're going to be starting to offload as well the HEBs, which will be moved to our warehouses and onto the field, specifically in areas that have the transit centers that have been highly as well affected, where we see the biggest influx of refugees and returnees. So thank you very much, and thank you as well for your presence, and thank you very much to the whole USAID and BHA team for